All right, we're rolling. Yeah, Cheryl, it's your
Yeah,
show now. Take
yeah,
it away.
I think everybody bounced off accidentally, so let's give them a minute or two to
Get logged back on. Absolutely.
log back on. Um, and for everybody that has shared with us tonight, just thank you so much. It was just beautiful. Let's give everybody just a little while. I see them coming back on right now. Uh, so we'll take a few minutes here. Hope everybody's can't believe it's already Thursday. It was just Thursday yesterday, wasn't it? Thursday yesterday, and it's already Thursday again. So let's give people just a little while to get back on. I think they're rejoining us here as I see the numbers climbing up. Normally it kind of holds its own, but this time I guess it didn't. Okay, so let me kind of get started at this point. We still see people joining us as we go here. But for those of you who may be joining us for the first time, I'll just start and introduce myself again. My name is Cheryl Cortese, and I'm a National Marketing Director with the Juice Plus Company, and I've actually been with the Juice Plus Company now for 33 years, so that's a shock. It was not my background, any type of marketing. I was in education. I taught at one of the universities in South Louisiana, which is where I'm from. And before that, I taught kindergarten, and I'm a mom. I have a couple of grown children now, of course, and a grandson. But at that time, 30 years ago, it was a very terrifying time for me financially. I was suddenly single without really anything but a very meager income from teaching, and not enough certainly to send my own children to college or to do the things that I felt like were just vital to the standards that I wanted to hold myself accountable for, and was really looking for something to keep us above struggle. And I came across the Juice Plus Company and just, I thought, well, this could be part-time. I love the idea of the products. But as I started, I just fell in love with the whole thing. I fell in love with the people. I fell in love with the idea of people helping people. I fell in love with the compensation plan, which was a shock because I didn't understand it for a long time. But just the whole idea of a business where it could be totally positive and it could really empower other people. It could empower other people to not only be healthy, but to create income and create that supplemental income that so many people needed and still do today, maybe more so than ever. And that it could grow into a career. Tonight, I really enjoy sharing with you again. We've been meeting like this for a number of weeks. I have to really appreciate Josh and Carol Turnbow. They have carried this call for a couple of years, being real consistent with it, and consistency is the key. But I think what you all probably have realized, and if not so, I certainly want to reiterate, is it's all about the story. It's all about hearing other people and their experiences. And you've certainly probably noticed by now that the stories are all going to be just a little different because everybody's body is maybe needing something just a little different. We all certainly take the best nutrition and do the best with it for our bodies. I've always believed that we're meant to be healing machines if we get the right kind of input. So what we see is just pure, wholesome food, which is what Juice Plus is, become foundational to whatever the body needs for repair, for immunity, for strength and endurance and recovery. All of those things. We see those over and over. And of course, one of the things that's foundational to your business as well is belief. After you've consumed the product for a while, I'm sure if you're like me, and I'm sure everyone has this feeling that's been with Juice Plus or on Juice Plus for a while, you become rock solid in your belief, bulletproof, you might say. There's not anybody that can say anything that would lead you to believe differently because you know what it does in your body. So consuming the product yourself is a very important part of not only creating really good health, but laying that foundation for a really strong business. And of course, we've been gathering at this time every Thursday night to talk about our business, how to grow that business, not only enjoy it, but really profit from it and teach others to do the same. And certainly duplication is a very important thing. You always want to be the model for whatever you want to see within your organization. So your goal, my goal to this day, is how can you, wrap your arms around the world, you might say, and bring together the biggest and most powerful team possible. So you're looking for people that want to partner with you in business. You're helping them look for people who want to partner with them. You're helping those people look for people who want to partner with them. And before long, you have a business that stretches not only across your town, your state, your country, but your world. So I'm going to really encourage you to expect success, to think big. There's no reason to play small, and especially at this time. We're in what I still, the best description I would have of it is we're in a golden time because we're very relevant, more relevant than ever before. So our goal here has been, let's talk about how to build what we've been referring to as the comma club, which means getting your check to a point where there's a comma in it. Aside from any title bonuses, just basic retail profit and commissions and the, just the basics of our business, getting it to $1,000. And then from there, deciding how big you want that number to be in front of that comma, because it can be any number you choose over time. So of course, our compensation plan becomes a very important part of really laying out the plan, you might say the business plan, as to how you're going to help that person grow up. And if anything, you want to not only get yourself to the comma club, but then you want to be a copy machine. You just want to be a copy machine of turning people out who are getting to the comma club, because it's at that point that you really begin to, I guess you would say, take on a serious business. You really there, everybody is going to want to duplicate that. $1,000 is the amount that when I ask a brand new person who's sitting with me, what amount would really feel good? And, if you went to your mailbox and there was a check, what would be the amount that would feel good? And it's always somewhere between $1,000 and $1,500. That would make a huge difference in most everyone's life at this point. So that's really our first goal, is to get a person to that sales coordinator position and then on to QSSC. And going to sales coordinator should be the first goal. It's a strong sales coordinator. If I look through the statistics within the organization, it's a strong sales coordinator that is earning somewhere right at $1,000 a month. And that's, again, aside from bonuses. Those are the extra. Those are what we say in South Louisiana is lagniappe, a little something extra. And then going from there through the pay plan. So what I would like for us to do tonight is we're going to go and look at some ideas and many of you may already be doing this. You may have already heard this, but it's something that I think could be really important as you lay the foundation for your business and continue to expand your business. For me, it has proved to be very beneficial. And that's the compensation plan on the Freedom Revolution. So I'm going to try to work at going to screen share. I'm getting hopefully a little better at this whole idea of screen share. But we're going to go to screen share. And let's see, I hope I can go to screen share. Let's see. It's not working. I don't know what it is. It just keeps coming up with a little sign. Host has disabled screen sharing. Well, I'm sorry about that, but it looks like this number does not go to screen share, even though I've added on so I'm just going to go ahead and tell you about it.
Cheryl,
yes.
Josh could assign you as host. If Josh re-signed in, he should assign you as host really quick, and then you'll be able to screen share.
Yeah, but I think the problem is that we've set this number already up for the Q school tomorrow. And
Gotcha.
I think they've disabled the screen share. So
Okay.
I think I can talk us through it. Okay, and then
Okay.
we'll go to question and answer. But thank you, Carol, for
You're
trying.
welcome.
Okay. Okay, so many of you may have already gone to the Freedom Revolution on your virtual office. And if you're joining us tonight from Mexico, because Mexico is going to open Tuesday officially. Mexico will probably have their virtual office up and running next week, so it will be there as well. I might share with you if you are working with any contacts in that market as it opens, they will be on exactly the same plan as the US. And so that makes it relatively easy for those of us who can't speak the language. It will be in their language, but it will be a duplicate of what we have here. So let's just talk about going to the Freedom Revolution. For the information that would be important to lay the foundation for your business, and then I'll go from there. And of course, I think everybody knows that you can go into your virtual office, and when you do, and hopefully if you have not been utilizing the virtual office, or if you're brand new, make sure that the person who's working with you walks you through your virtual office. So go to the virtual office, and up at the very top there'll be some tabs, and you click on Freedom Revolution. When you go to Freedom Revolution, and there will be tabs across that, and one of them will say compensation plan. And when you go to the compensation plan, you're going to see both phase 1 and phase 2. And in phase 1 and phase 2, there will be, phase 1 will be the first 4 positions. And those first 4 positions are going to be the basis of your business for your entire career. First, you'll go through the first 4 positions to sales coordinator. And then if you look at it, your whole career is going to just be duplicating that with others over and over and over. Like I said, you want to create almost a copy machine of how you, turn those out. You might say a sales coordinator factory, okay, so that you're turning out sales coordinators that you've sponsored directly to yourself. You're helping others do the very same thing. So phase 2 is, of course, the leadership positions. So that would be the QSSC through National Marketing Director. And of course, the top positions of National Marketing Director go on from there. But that all is in phase 2. For myself, and this is something if you're in Cindy Gomper's organization, you've probably already heard or seen this, but it's, I think, very effective. So many things are done on computer today. It is the norm. But I'm still one of those folks that I like to have the tangible thing, you might say, right in my hand. And so this I might recommend for you as you work with people and they do the same thing with your new team member as you work with people, is you would print off the entire phase 1 and phase 2. So I went to, that virtual office and basically just printed off the entire phase 1 and phase 2. Because now I've got it as a reference. But I'm one of those people that I'm not real organized. Half of this could wind up one side of the house and half another if I'm not really careful. So what many of us have done is just put it in a binder that you can go right to have the information right at your fingertips. Because I may not always be in front of the computer, or my team member might not always be in front of the computer. And so sometimes it's really nice, I find it's nice to have it right at your fingertips in one spot. So on the very front of the binder, it's got just the, basic compensation plan as we see the company, the way it's printed out. So picture the possibilities. And on the back of the binder, I've got the price and earnings guide. Because now I can look at the price of any product. I can look at you know, the product volume that goes along with it. I can look at the price. I can look at the monthly installment fee. So I can answer those questions very quickly for that new person. And especially as we've seen the changes come along, which certainly have made it simpler, it's still nice to have it at my fingertips. So having one place that I can go for this has been really empowering for me as well, even after all these years. Now, as you go through it, you know, you're basically what I put in this book was just very clear, see-through, you know, pockets. And here, if we look at the, I guess it's the second page, page 2, it's going to really, again, explore the possibilities. It'll tell you about each one of the 4 positions and exactly what's needed for those 4 positions. And then there's going to be a worksheet to go with each position. So the first worksheet I would have in this would be Partner Plus Planning Worksheet. So with my new person, I am going to take this and we're going to make sure that we've got it, you know, the whole idea of it being filled in. One thing you might do is many times, and this has been very effective for me, if I'm working with someone in person, or I encourage you if you're working with someone in person, because we won't be just on computer forever. We will get back to a life where we'll see people from time to time. You can make many copies of the worksheet, slipping them in behind the copy that you're looking at, so that if you working with someone, they can have the worksheet to work with as well. If not, if you're working virtually, I would encourage you to have the new person to print off those worksheets themselves from their virtual office so that they can do the projections on it, or you might say the forecasting of what needs to happen to go into that position so that there's real clarity. If the clarity is there, then there's not going to be a place for frustration or disappointment. As you continue through, you know, it takes the worksheets, go all through every position. Today I was working with someone who is, you know, really looking at that sales coordinator position right away. But remember, we're talking about sales coordinators being the first goal. And so I'm going to usually go through that first Partner Plus worksheet. We're going to get comfortable with that. We're going to then make the list. The homework sheets that I send out to everybody, of course, is we put the story together, the person's story. And we've talked about that before, but we could certainly go over that again, because that's very, very important part of building a business, is not only identifying your own story, but helping your new team member identify their story right away. We go through the story, but then we make the list of who would be the top people that you would want to invite to your team. Who do you want to be the people that, you know, you get up with every day and work with and enjoy the whole energy of putting together a powerful business? I like to talk about it as, you know, who, if you were going to build a multi-million-dollar business, and that's what for many this will become. I never dreamed my business would be the power business that it is today, or has been for many years. But in really being encouraged to develop that team and to develop it wide, it grew exponentially. So think big from the very beginning. Expect success. And think about, if you're going to put together a multi-million-dollar business, who would you want your, you might say, board of directors to be, that team that's going to come together, that's going to really strategize and plan as to how they're going to continue to do the same thing and teach others. So after my person is fairly familiar with, he's gone to Partner Plus, we're looking at, you know, how quickly we can get to QSC, or Qualifying Sales Coordinator, we start working with this Sales Coordinator worksheet, because it is the first goal. So if nothing else, it just gives that vision of what needs to happen. The person can set their sights on the logistics and the day-to-day effort or activities that need to happen. I like to take, you know, either a goal or a position. We look at where we want to go, and then we break down the activities from where that is to where we are right now. And this makes it a very simple and easy way to do it, is to have this right in front of you so that you can go to it at any point. If anybody in your organization says, well, what do I need to go where such and such a position, you can go right to that page and know it right away. So this is a suggestion. And of course, as I said, I know many people work right from the computer, and that's great. But it's also a great tool to have. Sometimes I just want to, remind myself, what exactly is needed for the various positions, because it keeps me sharp, and I like having the page to do it with. So again, if we're looking at going to this qualifying senior sales coordinator position, the foundation to do that is, of course, to build those first 4 positions, and sales coordinator being the first goal. Qualifying sales coordinator, the first step. And Partner Plus is something that really should be picked up within the first couple of days if a person is serious about wanting to build a business, because it's their own order and 2 other orders. And I think everyone's aware that, it can actually be in that person's household, as long as 2 people in the household are identified as customers. They could all go on the same credit card, or that new team member could have 2 other customers that come from any direction, anywhere. But the $1,000 in production can happen very quickly, because, as you know, we're paid on the full dollar value, and counted the full dollar value as far as the product's concerned. So get the person off and started, but then we take the sales coordinator worksheet and start filling it in as far as, and at least really reviewing it, so we know what the goal is and where we're going and what needs to be done. I think the virtual office, the Freedom Revolution compensation plan, especially with the worksheets, has been a great addition, because it gives you a really clear map to follow. And that can be very powerful as far as just having day-to-day logistics. And then it's just a matter of, what are the activities that it's going to take to reach that goal? Certainly, telling the story is the most important. The story is not just about you, it's about the person who hears it, and it's the change that it'll make in their lives. People identify with stories. They identify with the potential for themselves. They realize the possibilities. And so the story is extremely important. A person has a story, whether they've received the product or not. If they've made the decision to purchase, if they've made the decision to become a team member, they already have a story, because they have a desire. And what they describe is the potential of what they see and the desire. So what attracted the person to the product? What attracted you? Think about that. What was the thing that got you? What got you as far as the product was concerned? When did your heart connect to the idea? And that's the basis of your story. What is it going to do for you? Is it going to protect you from a health standpoint? Is it going to protect you? For me, it was to protect me from all those health monsters that were in my family's health history. Is it going to really hopefully help repair? Is it going to really give you a safety net as far as your health and having an edge physically? So what's the attraction? That's what you want to share with people in a very short order. Same thing for the business. What attracted you? What difference would it make in your life if $1,000 a month showed up in the mailbox on a monthly basis, and then more? Because if you can share your desire, your dream, your goals with people, what the potential is that you see, that's the most powerful thing you can do, because people step into potential much more readily than they do acquired gain. My story 30 years later is not nearly as powerful as your story about the potential that you see for yourself, because other people will step into it. It's one of the reasons that myself or Heather or anyone else who shared with you tell their first story, because that story is what the potential is that they saw, and that's what people identify, because everybody has something that they want to, a dream they want to fulfill, a wound that they want to hopefully heal, and that can be both financial as well as from a health standpoint. And I say that word wound in a very general fashion, but a challenge. So the story becomes very important. Events are all built around the story. If we look at this event on Thursday night, it's built around stories, because people come and they hear different stories and they realize that this can apply to anybody, anywhere, any age, any walk of life. So that becomes vital. So the event now is really a story, but told in unison. So that gives it even more power. We look at the other activities, three-way calls or Zoom calls, where you bring a person to talk to your sponsor or somebody else, because then they validate what you're saying. So it's all about the story and validating it. So if we look at the logistics, you might say, of taking people through these activities, that would be in a binder, if you choose to put a binder together, which would be a very simple activity, but one that would be at your fingertips, then it's just a matter of what's needed on that worksheet, and then what are the activities that we're going to do to make it happen. If we need 3 people in place, and you would hopefully want to have more, if we look at the sales coordinator position, you need at least 3 team members in place, 2 QSCs or qualifying sales coordinators, and 1 partner plus. Well, my encouragement to you would be to have many more than that, to work at as many team members as possible, because this is a minimal requirement. But you don't want minimal income. You want to maximize the potential of the pay plan. But if you know what's needed, then you can just say, okay, if this is what we need, how many people? Let's break it down to what is the activity going to be. Are we going to talk to 2 people a day together? 3? How many a week? How many a month? To make sure that you share and give the option to enough people that you can fill the worksheet out and therefore reach the position. So any questions at this point? I'm sorry we didn't get to look at it on the virtual office, but I think hopefully I got the message across tonight that, you know, really being prepared, really knowing what's required, then looking at the activity to meet the requirement gives you really an edge. And then the word would be consistency. I'm going to recommend a book tonight, and I would really encourage you all to read it if you haven't. It's called The Compound Effect. I don't know if it shows up backwards when I show it here at on the Zoom, but The Compound Effect, it's written by Darren Hardy. Again, he was a big fan also of Jim Rohn, who is another wonderful person, a great business philosopher. And Jim Rohn just explains our business very well. But this book is excellent because it really gives you foundational, I guess you would say, information for developing and guiding yourself and others through a business or a profession like this. But he says in the very beginning that he feels like that his success in life, he knows, he says, I win because of positive habits I've developed over the years and because of consistency. I'm the world's biggest believer in consistency, and I have to say that I'm going to agree with him 150%. Because if you can be really consistent with paying activities, then this cannot fail. It's just a numbers business. How many people can you share this with? And what are the logistics to make it happen? And that's why I feel like pulling this information off the virtual office, having it at your fingertips, ready to fill out the worksheet, knowing what needs to happen to go to sales coordinator, and then just putting those activities in place to make it happen with consistency. is going to create a very, very powerful business. Anybody, any questions for me tonight? So I think we're right at end time already. Anybody? Everybody good? And maybe you've all printed it off already and have it in your folder as it is. But it's a great way to get acquainted with what needs to happen. Everybody good? Okay. Well, I guess we'll see you all then next week. If you're going to be part of our Q School, if you're a QSSC or above, we'll see you tomorrow. Our Q School is for leadership, but we usually invite the leadership. It's for Qs, not for our national marketing directors, just for qualifying national marketing directors. And we invite the QSSCs and the SSCs as well, since they're part of the leadership team. We will have Jay Martin on with us tomorrow, Paula Teixeira, all the corporate people. And if you are a QSSC or above, we hope to see you there. And if not, let's do it this year so you can be there with us next year. So Josh, back to you.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, Aunt Cheryl. I will see everybody next Thursday, and Carol Turnbow will be back to hosting next Thursday evening. So everybody enjoy their weekend and get after it, guys. Now's the time. See everybody next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, Josh.